then share the screen. Right, welcome back. So I coming out this route so that my user cannot access to the route here. I don't want people to create other rooms. Right, so next step, we're gonna prepare our front end so that we can see the list of the rooms and as well as be able to click on the rooms to enter. Right. We also need to make it so that we can get the username and send it to and log in to our database using that username to log in the backend side. So basically we will need the client here will need five events. We need to trigger 5 events. The first event is going to be login, right? The second event is going to be join room, and then when you join, you also have the ability to leave the room, right? As well as leaving the room, and then you can send message. You already have this, which is chat. I think is what chat. You already have that. You don't have login, you don't have join room, you don't have leave room, you have chat already. And so this connect is optional. It's not optional on backend, but it's optional on front end because by default, if you close the browser or the tab, socket IO will it will automatically trigger the event disconnect on the backend side. So you may want to actively disconnect. For example, when you switch to another router on React, or when you close the window. So let's talk about this later. Also on the front end side, we also need to listen to 3 events. The first one is messages. We already have it yesterday. We also need to listen on the rooms. So basically the rooms here, the room event here is like the backend side will send the list of the rooms that we created here, right? It will send the list of the rooms here to the front end, and the front end will have to render the rooms on the left hand side. Okay. And selected room is like you have all the data that belong to the rooms, the selected rooms. Basically you will chat in that room, or you will leave or join that room, right? So right now we have to pay attention to these events. We want to trigger these 5 events, and we have to listen to these 3 events. So just in case, I'm telling you these first before we go into the code, right? So now let's go to the front end code. We log in. Okay, front end. So this is my front end. So yesterday we have the user, and then we set name user inside user effect, right? So let's make it a bit more complicated. I'm gonna say ask for username, right? And it's a function. Okay, that's a function. And this function first I'm gonna copy all of these, right? Con user we prompt whenever the user like visit our page, we prompt for a username, and then if the user enter a name, if the user doesn't enter a name but instead he click on cancel or something, or he provide an empty string, we will ask again. Like we will like how do I say, we will recursively call the function again, right? So I'm gonna call this again. That's weird, but yeah, return. I think return is okay. Yeah. Okay. And next, if the user does submit a username, right? So we will do something called login socket. We use that username to login. Let's say this username change the variable name to make sense. If username return as user, yes. If we receive a username from the user, we can do socket.emit, right? And we're gonna trigger an event login, as I said before. What do we send? We want to send username, okay, and the callback. Okay, so if we successfully log in, that means there will be no error. If there's an error, we console log that error to tell the user what's wrong, right? So if there's a callback and the callback.OK here is true, not okay. So I will explain the not okay later, but for now just type in, meaning if there's an error or like the response is not okay, we will say alert return alert. We can return add user again or return alert, right? It doesn't matter. For now, let's just alert. Cannot log in or anything. For some reason we cannot log in. If everything is okay, we set the name. Else set. So now we don't need set name, we set user, because it's not just about name. There should be ID, right, together with the name, or there should be the socket ID as well. So it's not just a name, we can have so this one is going to be user, and this one is going to set user, and the name will become an object, right? So by default the object is null. Okay, yeah, set user, and we will have the data. We'll send it callback, this one .data. So if callback status okay is false, then we return the error. If it's true, that means the response is success, and we will set the data. So data here will be an object, right? And it will become the user, right? I think we have done this. Let's put it here. Don't do anything else. Let's keep it for now. And what is that? What is this? So next step, I will create the header to contain the name of the user and also the sidebar. You may want to create a sidebar, or you can create another header to contain the list of the rooms. Whatever you want to do is okay. It depends on your taste. So I'm gonna create a header to contain the username, for example, here. If you take a look at my app here, so you need a username here, right? And the place where you put the list of rooms. So I'm gonna create two more divs here. Let's say I'm calling this one header, and this one is gonna be rooms, right? And then we need to import them. Import header from maybe components, and then header. Oh, we don't need JS here. So this one is going to be room, and then inside shops I'm going to create a folder called components. Inside component I'm going to create two components, header and rooms. Header, sorry, I think I misspelled here. It should be rooms. Yes, it should be rooms. Room with S. Room with S. And in here I'm going to create two files. First one is rooms.js. Second one is I forgot, header.js. Okay, this is all React, nothing new. So RFC, shortcut for create a functional component. which is a header, and let's say I'm gonna pass in the props here. Let's say props.user.name, for example. So here I'm gonna pass in user equal to user from state user, right up here. Okay. Yep. And in here you props.user, so you have to check first props.user or if there's no question mark and then you name. If there's no user, you can do guest, for example. Okay, so if there's no username, you give it a default value guest. You can say hello here as well, it's okay. So let's test it. No, let's not test it. Create the header as well, the room as well. So I'm going to do RC again, and the rooms will be a list of the rooms. So we're gonna fetch the API here. Use effect, and in that use effect is a function. In that function, it's gonna an array. So we want to call it once, and use state. So cons rooms. So we're gonna fetch the rooms from the API or from the server, and we set rooms equal use state empty array, right? Nothing new. So here we need to do socket.on, and we have to listen to which event. Here, take a look at here. You will call this event. You will listen to this event, right? Rooms. So socket.on rooms. Okay, and then you will receive some data, and from that data you're gonna set room, right? Data. So data here I expect to receive an array. Data should be an array. Okay. And here you're gonna render it. So maybe rooms.map. Inside here you have element, and the element you will render the map. So for example, I'm gonna use spans because right now my header is gonna be vertical. It's not vertical, horizontal, like it's like up like this, not on the sidebar. It's not like this. It's gonna be it's gonna look like this one, the navbar. So I'll go back to my code here, and here you're gonna have l.name. Why do I use l.name? Because in my room model I call this one name. So an element will be a document, right? Each element will be a document inside my rooms collection. So it should have the name field and the member field as well as the ID, low-dash ID, right? This one. So go back to front end. So I have l.name, and here I will have the number of members inside that room, which I will not have it yet, but in the future, just put it here for the future. As well as the keys here is gonna be l.id. So now we need a key, right? And let's save it and see what happened. There's some error here. Import in body of module reorder to top, line number 5, line number 6, line number 5, line number 6. Okay, syntax for the import syntax for ES6, you have to use import. You have to put import on the top, and then cons go down. So it should be like this, right? Okay, and if I save it, the error will be gone, and we will have unexpected use of name, like 49. So now we don't have name anymore. We change it to user here. So it should be user.name, right? user.name. Okay, user.name, and take a look at all right. Why is the username here is right? I don't know. All right, so yeah. Okay. Nothing wrong. Socket is notified now. Socket is notified. Yes. So now we will learn how to use socket in different files. Now we need to refactor our code a little bit. I'm gonna create a folder called utils, and in here I'm gonna create a file called socket.js, and I'm gonna move these two lines in here, and then I export it. Export default socket. I do this in order to use socket everywhere, not just inside our app, right? So here I have to import socket from utils, and from util you have socket. Okay, save it, and I'm gonna copy this file, this line, and put it in here. Go up one level, right? Go up one level to utils and then socket. Sorry, that's right. Save. Save. There is no search. Really? Component header. Header. What's wrong with this? Something wrong in here. There is no search. File or -3, open demo chart frontend source component. What the hell? Export default function header. Header components header rooms header. What is this? Hello? Can anyone guess what it is error? I have some error here. It doesn't tell me where I'm wrong. It's just say no search file or directory. It tried to open this file, but it cannot find. So inside components here, component as well, right? And inside component, I have header, and here's my header. Export default function header, yes. Inside app, import header from component header. Huh, that's weird. What's wrong with this? Can anyone spot the error? Header. Okay, let's say I disable this line. See what happened. This one as well. Save it. Okay, no questions. Shit. It's one me here. Add user is defined but never used, so I'm gonna use it here. Add user inside use fact. Okay. And then I want to use a header here. Let's say I'm gonna import it. Header. And it say it cannot find if. That's weird. Do I spell wrong? Components in the header. Export default function header is right here. What the hell? Yeah. Let's stop the server and try again. Nice. We have the same error. Wait, what? What? What the hell? It's not an error. It's some shit. React. Something wrong with React. It's a error, but now there's no error. I have no idea what happened. But yeah, sometimes I stop the server and run again, and the error is gone. So now I enable this line. I save. Still, my app works fine. Meaning, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Well. Right. So now I cannot. My headers like this app here. Even though we send the event, we trigger event login, right? We trigger event login, but sometimes, in the backend side, we haven't had any. We haven't listened to any event, search login event, and then return anything. That's why the login event will like receive no data, and so that's why in your component here, in your header component, you have no value for the user, and that's why you see guest, right? So now next step, we are gonna define a login event inside our backend server. So it's like 11:50 so now, so I'm gonna do it 10 minutes, okay. So let's go to your backend side. Now you have chat, and I'm gonna move it down. The first method is gonna be socket dot. Before we do login, we can do another thing called rooms. Remember, we have the rooms here. We have the rooms here. So now we need to send the room list to our client. It's very simple, just like this. Rooms, right? And then we can return the room here, the data, the list of rooms here. But how do we get that list? How do we get the list of rooms? It's already inside our database, so how do we get that out? You can guess. You should know this already. Anyone try? Give it a try. You can guess. Make request. No, Hưng. Just db chat.gram. Something like that, Jerry. But that is Mongo, and we can use Mongoose here. We just import. We can import rooms like this, the model, and here we go. We go to RC and then to the models. Go room, right? And then we can use async here and await room.find. So simple, right? So the result here will be an array. It will be an array. It will be an array, right? And then we will send this array to our server, to our client. I'm going to save this one, and I'm going to refresh this. For example. And what the hell? I don't see anything. I think the syntax is wrong. I don't know yet. So let's go to my front end code, and we actually see something here. So let's break it down, multiple line instead of doing it in one line. I'm gonna console log the data here. Console log data. Okay. Oh shit. Sorry. I used the wrong method. On the backend side, it should be emit. Yeah, it should be emit. Okay, now if you go back to front end, Actually, you can go back and now you can see a list of the rooms inside our database, right? Yeah. Refresh again. Khoa, still the name of the rooms. Very simple. We have 5 rooms here, and they have array members which is empty. They have the name. They have the ID as well. The ID here is very important. We'll use later, as well as the member. Now you can count. You can count the number of members by the length of this array, right? It's simple, right? So go back to the backend code and front-end code and delete this one. We don't need this at all. Change back. Right, one line of code. Save it. Done. Again. So now we need to style it a little bit. So I'm gonna style it style. Okay, display flags. Right, and then justify content space around, I guess, and we can test. Okay, space around works. So we have a bunch of rooms here. Right. So that's it, and let's move on to the login feature. Login feature here. So we need to define an event listener on the backend side. Let's go to the backend. We have another socket.on. This one's gonna be login, and we will listen to that, and we will have to argument the data here, the username, and the callback, right? Something wrong here. Let me see this one. All right, the username and the callback. All right, we have 6 minutes left. I don't think we can finish this one in 6 minutes and answer everything. So let's skip this. All right, let's skip this. I'm gonna do this. Okay, and questions. Time for questions. Like I know a couple of you guys are lost, but now it's time for questions. So we will do the login feature later on, because to do the login we require a couple of 1 or 2 methods for login, and we don't have enough time until 12, so we have at most 5 minutes for questions. Please, if you have questions, please ask. What is this? So what we have done is just all about front end, right? So I'm gonna move to front end and show you what we did there. We changed the name, right? We originally, yesterday we used the username. So now I change that name to the user object. So we have user and set user. And then I have to change a couple of things. First is the name. When you chat, right, you have to change the name, or you want to use the ID, but you don't need the ID here, just change chat name. Actually, you don't even need the name. Actually, you don't even need it, but whatever, just leave it there. We don't touch it. Basically, we add one feature. The most important feature is the rooms. Right? We have a list of the rooms here in a different component. And in order to call socket in that component, we have to create a different files, socket, and then we define socket in here and export it, so that we can use it in different files. And after that, inside rooms component, just like normal React, nothing new. You call an API, kind of like call an API here, but like you listen to the rooms event. So whenever you connect to the server will send you the trigger a rooms event, and then on client you have to listen to that event and receive the data from the backend side. The data here is supposed to be an array of rooms, and then you satisfy it when you receive the data. Okay. So now rooms here will be a list of rooms, and then you map it, show all the room names, right? The headers, there's nothing much to say about the header for now. The header is simple, it's just React stuff. We haven't touched anything about the backend here. And our next job is like to define the login handler and handle the login feature. Okay, so I've talked about that. So do you have any questions? Or is it so clear already? I don't know. Questions? So far so good, right? Yeah, if we don't have question, I'm gonna take a break until, do you want it to be 1 p.m. or 1:30? Can you show the socket.js again? Actually, I just moved 2 lines of code from the app.js to this file. So basically, I moved 2 lines of code in app.js to here, right? And then export default socket. Cool. The reason why is that we cannot export socket inside the app.js. Like we cannot import stuff from app.js and export it to rooms. React doesn't work like that. And because you will run into an error, so kind of like the cyclic dependency, like I said yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, but that's why we need to create another file socket, and then we define the socket in that file and import into, for consume, we import into app.js as well as rooms.js. Basically, whenever you want to use it, you have to import it, right? So the socket here will be the same as the socket in app.js. So basically we have the socket area, so we do that to save the code, right? Yes, yeah. Cool. All right, I'm gonna stop this. And if you return early, you can work on the next milestone or continue working on with the lab. And then at 1:30, I'll come back and walk you through. If you cannot finish it, I can walk you through. Upload video, please. Yeah, of course, I will try. All right, see you guys. Bye bye. Have a good lunch.